Actually, I do not have a appropriate t-shirt. So I went to my closet and I thought, how can I have a little nod? And so I found this one, which isn't specifically a Schitt's Creek shirt, but it's going to count. First of all, great t-shirt. Thank you to our wonderful patron, Jolie. She sent me this with some liquor recently as just a happy holidays. I wanted to start the show, before we start the show, with a little acknowledgement of who we lost as sad. You and I are recording. I am too. This one hit me. I think you maybe got to go back to Robin Williams before I took one quite so personal. We're talking about Catherine O'Hara.
You got to go back to Carrie Fisher to find one that hit me this
Good
rough.
Call.
Yeah, I'm so sad. I adore her. I won't even use past tense in that. I adore her. She's so brilliant. She was such a brilliant, hilarious woman with like no throttle, and I fucking admire that so much.
Incredibly capable actor in whatever role she was put to. Most often her talents were put to use in comedy. But I mean, I think if you go and watch the whole arc of Schitt's Creek in particular, she's used there in a way, just because of length of exposure, I think, that is better than anywhere else that she's ever been used. She gets to do more as Maura than anywhere else. We think of Maura as the clips that we all use on TikTok, but like Maura Rose is a lot of things, and Catherine O'Hara was a lot of things. First and foremost, she was a beautiful, beautiful artist, and
gorgeous.
I am very, very saddened to lose her. I want to tell everybody to go watch A Mighty Wind. That's the one.
So good.
It's easy. It's short too. It's barely 2 hours long. The music's great in it. Her character is amazing in it. She's got a really good arc. And unlike some of the other of the Christopher Guest movies, which she's great in all of them, but she's really featured in that one. She's the show.
She's wonderful. Mine and Brett's first dance at our wedding was to A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow. So that movie's so great, and that song is so perfect and beautiful. Oh, I hate we are not going to get any more from her. She's been doing so much work lately. Coming off Schitt's Creek, she was working so much, so we got this really great like end of her career. So that's nice, but man, we should have had quite a few more years with her. I'm very sad.
It is. It's strange to think about someone with that long a career and think about it as going too soon, right? But that is exactly how I feel about it. We had 20, 30 more years worth of work out of her. So I wanted her to have that 100th birthday party like Betty White. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, folks, man, if you want to cry and you haven't yet about that, go look at Macaulay Culkin's post about it.
Oh God. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. And I can't imagine, like Daniel and Eugene Levy's posts were so sweet. And I mean, I can't, for Eugene Levy, like they've been working together for 50 years.
As Kelly and I were talking about it earlier. I mean, they have been friends and partners since they were children, effectively. And man, there's not a lot left out of that SCTV gang, honestly, at this point. That's a bummer. Okay. Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe. The Articulate Coven is Ashely and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join. We are the Articulate Coven. We're a podcast about Anne Rice. We talk about her works. We talk about the adaptations thereof, but you know all of that already. Folks, what we're doing now is we are about to begin It seems like a trek. It's not that long a trek. It's 15 episodes is all we have here,
Yeah.
Ashely.
It's all we have. I know. And oh God, I hadn't rewatched this first season in a while. So coming back to it and coming back to it with very fresh and hungry eyes, being very ready to do this rewatch. And this first episode is so fucking good. And it just makes me sore about Mayfair all over again, to be honest, because it's like I had forgotten almost how instantly captivating this is, how perfect everything looks, except Lestat's hair in this first first It's
He
not the
just hadn't grown it out
best.
long enough, and the wig
He
was
wasn't
not
quite
up
there
to
yet.
snuff.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't. No, we blew the budget somewhere else. But yeah, it is. Oh, I'm so excited we're doing this. Ah!
I am too. So what are we doing? We're going to do a full rewatch, episode by episode, of Interview with the Vampire from AMC and AMC Plus. We're going to go right back to the very beginning. Ashely and I have joked about it. We've literally only done one episode in video about this show. We did our coverage of the final episode of season 2 in video. That was when we first pulled the trigger and made the switch. So we're going to go from the very beginning. I do want to tell you, if you are watching these stories for the first time and looking to our coverage, I would strongly suggest you go listen or watch the episodes that we did the first time around.
Yeah.
Ashely and I have read these books decades ago, so we always are going to bring a certain amount of spoiler knowledge and foreknowledge to our discussions. However, we were very careful in our initial discussions of this show to talk about it as if we were approaching the first time. We were trying not to give hints to what was coming, or only hints to what was coming. We're going to talk about this thing, assuming that you have also been on the full ride. So there's my forewarning, and I'll try to make it again in the future, at least for these first few episodes. But we have lots of episodes out there already, so go enjoy those and then come back once you've watched the whole kit and caboodle to enjoy this jaunt with us.
So we're going to get down and dirty now.
For real. Okay, right off the top, there are things in this rewatch that I think are genuinely, maybe we are assigning too much, but it feels like Roland Jones and his team wrote a 2-season novel. We just happened to only get it in little episode installments. And boy, there are some things that feel like have been paid off long term. The opening lines of the show, there are stories out there that need to be told. There's shit out there that's just, wrong. People need to know about it. That's the job. It's not a complicated job other than how it'll mess with your life. Okay. So let's talk about, because I want to talk about this on like 3 different layers. First, for the show, Daniel is foretelling his own doom.
I mean,
there are parts of Daniel's past. There are things going on in the current environment of the world that Daniel is not really privy to in this moment that are, in fact, bad things. Shouldn't be going on. People ought to know about them, except it will mess with your life. Daniel's life, as we see it in this opening scene, it strikes me, does he ever go back to that house?
Yeah, right?
Right? Does he ever go back to that apartment? I guess it's an apartment, a townhouse, whatever.
It's, and I forgot like how broken he is at the beginning of this. I really had, because he's so, as the season goes on, and in the second season, he just is like becoming more and more robust. He's like learning to live again and find interest and excitement in things again, and to see him at the beginning of this, like, he can't even put the fucking the jigsaw puzzle together. Just fucking, like, I really had forgotten what a shell of himself he was when this package arrives at his house.
So that's the show level. Here's the real world level. Ashely, as you and I sit here, and this will be hopefully my only real political rant. This week, Don Lemon used to work at CNN for forever. I think he's just independent these days, right?
Yeah, he is.
But Don Lemon got arrested by Pam Bondi and her goons from the DOJ. They got arrested, by the way, after a judge had denied the request for the warrant for arrest, and then an appeals court had also denied the warrant for arrest. That's just kidnapping with police.
And it's a reporter. Like, what happened to freedom of the press?
Listen.
Oof.
Whatever. I posted something on my Facebook today. You are not mad enough.
Yeah.
Whoever you are listening to this, unless you already knew about that, you are not paying close enough attention. I know we talk about self-care.
It is a daily shit show out there. And look at Fridays, take out the trash day for the press, and all of this shit went down on a Friday. Yeah.
And y'all, like, they dump another big batch of the Epstein files, which were all supposed to be released more than a month ago. And then as soon as they dump them, they start redacting them again and deleting them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what is going... Meanwhile, we are, like, this close to a war with Iran. Anyway, my point is this. You need... If you are not nodding your head and going, oh, yeah, oh, my God, oh, yes, and that too, then you need to spend some time this week. We are genuinely at a tipping... I say that. Maybe you live in a country where everything is safe and sound and you're not being under attack by a right-wing, piece of your population. However, I'd argue there aren't that many countries where that's the case. So, again, check your voter registration. Yeah, wherever
actually,
you are.
That's a big deal too, guys. Check your voter registration. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure that you're active. If you've not voted, if you've not participated in an election before, this is a very good time to get involved. Registering to vote is very, very simple. And I know a lot of the times it feels like our voices don't matter, but the actual issue is that not enough of us are showing up at the polls. The voter participation in our country is at it's at a horrifying low. So we really do need to be more active, encourage our friends to register to vote, take them to the polls if they need help getting there, and encourage everyone to show up.
And support journalists where you can.
Yeah.
And 100%. I saw a podcast friend of mine, a podcast Hall of Famer, I should mention too, Elsie Escobar, who had worked for years with Libsyn and is independent now. She posted something talking about, this was on Threads, I think, but she was talking about shows like ours that are not politically focused at all,
right,
but are taking a moment to discuss this moment in our country and to point out some ways that you can get involved and active and to point out some of the terrible things that are happening. It's a risk. Obviously, it's cost us already a few patrons, I think. It's cost us some listeners, I think, and viewers. However, I said in response to her, and I'll say it here again, I know what our audience is. The size of our audience that is LGBTQ, the size of our audience that is people of color, the size of our audience that is women, all of those folks specifically are under attack by this administration. So, like, we're not going to stop talking about it. We're going to try to keep it focused.
Side note, too, for the ladies out there, when they talk about this Safe Voting Act that they're trying to pass, it means that your voter registration has to be the same as your birth certificate, y'all. I don't know how many women out there changed their last names to their husbands when they got married, but this is serious fuckery, and a lot of people think it's not that big of a deal, or that doesn't mean marriage licenses. It does. It absolutely 100% does. So, like, don't fuck yourself with your vote. Like, do not fuck yourself with your own vote, please, and thank you.
Okay, before we begin the show in earnest, I do want to say one thing that I am personally doing is I have started a podcast. I mentioned this before, I think, but I've restarted posting episodes in the new year to We Are Louisiana Indivisible. I'm focused specifically on Louisiana politics, so I'm talking to candidates and progressive groups in the state. But there is an indivisible group no matter where you are. There's probably one in your local area even. Go to indivisible.org and get information on them. They're a great organization that is pushing not only for change at a federal level and a local level, but like they're pushing candidates, they're pushing politicians on both sides, on both parties. We can make change. There are lots of Republicans in districts that are full of Democrats. There are lots of Democratic politicians that are beholden to their business interests instead of their citizens and their constituents. So all of that, we can make change. Please don't get demoralized. We've got to stay moving. We've got to stay active. There is momentum on our side, honestly. And so we've got to keep pushing it. All right.
Now on to the gay, sexy vampires.
Indeed. On to the gay, sexy vampires. Okay. Here's where I want to start. Let's just interrogate for a minute. Let's talk about what do we gain by this idea of telling this story again?
Right.
Why not make a straight adaptation? It's something that I hadn't really thought about in a while because we've been living with this world for several years now. But starting at episode 1, I think to myself, why did Rowland Jones and crew? And I wonder, I don't recall hearing specifically, like, was this a network idea? Is this a Rowland idea? Is this something that comes out of the casting of Jacob Anderson? You decide you're going to cast a person of color for Louie, and then you're like, we got to change the timeline. How do we make this all make? I don't know. I don't know where it originates. I know some of the things that I have enjoyed from it, but I want to get your take on that and how you thought about it again, approaching it fresh. Why isn't this just
a straight
young
adaptation?
Daniel? Yeah, why don't we start on Divisadero Street?
I mean, I do not have a real answer to that, but I do think that choosing to tell this story in this way is allowing for I think what Louie wants from it. See, it's hard for me not to approach it from like why the characters would choose to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think about it more like, why does Louie want to do this way? Why does he want to retell this story? Why does he want to rehash this? Why has Armand pushed him to do this if that's in fact what happened? To me, it's much more about like, I have less interest in why the production decided to do it that way, and way more interest in why the characters did. And I think that may be the answer right there, is that it immediately makes you wonder, why the fuck are we doing this, you know? And I want to think it's more than a gimmick, you know, that it's more than just like we wanted to do it different, you know? And it gives the characters an opportunity to like to address their own growth and change and the fuckery that's happened over the time, which is I don't know, I think it makes everything so much more compelling when Louie has to go back and look at it again in a different way and has to listen to how he told it the first time and how that sits with him, you know?
I do love that it's one of the first questions that both of these characters force, right? Louie pushes Daniel, hey, it's the middle of a pandemic and you're old and dying. You came halfway around the world to visit a person you know to be dangerous. Why would you do that, Daniel? Don't pretend you don't want this.
Yeah.
And then Daniel, to be fair, has very firm answers on why he showed up. But then he interrogates Louie. Why would you do it again? Which Louie has answers too. I've changed. The world has changed. It is so interesting to think about, could you have done the timeline shifts as well if this was a first-time storyline? Here's the other thing that occurs to me. The vampiric world, as we've just gotten done talking about in the Prince Lestat discussion, our previous book club episodes, by the way, if you haven't read any of that trilogy, the final 3 in the Vampire Chronicles, we just did the first one. But in that, we talk about how much Louie and then Lestat's writing has affected the vampiric world. Here, we have a circumstance where the vampiric world didn't change because Louie's action wasn't made public.
Right.
And so Louis didn't force the issue, and Lestat doesn't force the issue, and Armand didn't force the issue, and Daniel sat on it and had sort of a career anyway. And then whatever, 50 years later, we're gonna go round again. I don't know. It's fascinating to me, and I would love if I had Roland Jones. This is one of the number one questions I would ask. Here's something else I want to ask, though, you and get your opinion on. Were they this far along as far as deciding this is going to be a redo? Is that one of the reasons why Anne left?
Is that the break?
Had they gotten that far when they decided that? I don't know. I can't remember the timing. I don't know that Roland was attached when she had left already.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I need to we'll have to research that. I'll have to do some Googling this week to try to remember, because it's been so long. And this thing, I mean, y'all, this thing changed hands 850 times, God only knows when Anne got pissed,
So the first time that we see Rashid is out of focus, very focused. Rashid, is very focused on Louie, and specifically his arm as it burns in the sun. And I thought, man, after all we know now, that is a hell of a way to start this series and their relationship specifically. Think again, knowing how this series turns out and how their relationship has gone. Louis says, you know what I need to do? I need to do I need to do this right, actually. I'm going to redo this interview. And Armand's like, I think that's I think this was Louis's idea. And I think Armand was like, that's a bad idea for several reasons. Let me try to give you a few of them. But once he committed and said, okay, yeah, the first fucking thing Louis does is open the shades and burn his arm.
Self-harm. The first thing he does. Self-harm right off the bat. Well, we know our fella does like to burn things.
Yeah.
That includes himself.
Don't make me put myself in Armand's shoes, but I was like, baby, honey, please. Baby, what are we doing?
It's a lot. It's a lot to start off the day with.
It's supposed 10 to sit over here.
It's like 10 a.m. too. Like, fuck, man. Yeah. It's 10 a.m. Fuck, dude. It's 10 a.m.
Supposed to pretend to be the butler. Okay.
I love how humbling, that's also hilarious to me, is that's how they set this up, is that, Armand is set up as the servant when he is clearly the puppet master here.
Okay, accept that. That's what you and I talked about, even the first season, when we were like, I wonder if it could be Armand. Pretty early, we were like, I wonder if that guy's going to end up being more important. I wonder if that guy's going to be Armand. But even then, we discussed the idea of why would you pretend it was his house? Why would you be the butler, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Their relationship is a sub and a dom, and Armand is the sub. So he's doing a fucking 3-week kink trip with Daniel in the apartment.
You really should warn someone if you're going to involve a third in your kink. They should have a heads up.
But I'm going to get off on this just so you know. Just so you know.
I'm over here in the corner watching everything.
Okay, Daniel yells at Louis in the tapes, in the original interview. At the end of the thing, he yells, you don't even understand what your story's about, man. He doesn't understand what life is, doesn't understand what immortality means, et cetera, et cetera. Interestingly, though, because we're doing the redo, Daniel does understand it. This grown-up Daniel does know what life is worth.
Yeah.
And also he's staring down the barrel of his own mortality, right? I think he's literally dying. We don't know it, but we soon discover it. I just thought it's so interesting that is the crux. That's the culmination of the book is this crescendo where he sort of attacks Louis, and Louis's like, oh yeah, and bites him and leaves him. But that's what Daniel comes to Dubai to point out. He's like, you know what? Actually, you don't understand your own story.
Right. You still don't.
And in fact, none of them do, it turns out, because they don't have all the pieces,
No.
Mr. Duloc, how long have you been dead? What a great way to start the interview. I love it. Daniel's so good. Listen. I'll tell you, if the pitch to make this a redo was what if the interviewer was Anthony Bourdain, that's good enough. That's a good enough reason, honestly.
Right. Well, and I do think
great.
and maybe what drives Louis to make the move at this time is he knows that Daniel's dying, and he sees it as a last opportunity to try this again. That could have been that it literally could have been what drove him to make the move at this time. Was the urgency of getting it done before this dude dies on him.
So forgive us, by the way, if you have recently binged some of our older episodes and you're like, hey, they're having the same conversations again. I literally have a note. I think we've talked about this before. I'm sure we've talked about lots of this before. So Louis in the book is a plantation owner. He owns and sells and buys enslaved human beings. It is a primary source of his wealth and revenue generation.
Sugar plantation.
Is the free labor that he gets from owning and buying people. That is not in the novel a great source of his Catholic guilt that leads him to, embracing Lestat and seeking death. However, it is a source of his guilt in this story, it turns out. We don't see it right away, but the reason this Louis is so conflicted, this Louis doesn't own land. He doesn't literally buy and sell humans, but he does earn money on the bodies of humans, women especially.
Peddles in the flesh.
Yeah. Although I was thinking about that. We don't see it here. My guess is he's got a few young men that work for him too. Don't you imagine that'll turn a trick? My guess is Louis has some rent boys, as they say later in this series at some point.
That would not be shocking.
Yeah. He's not really sorrowful for what he's doing here. But it does bother him, though.
And it is a shameful business, it's not this isn't a classy business he's running, and when his brother gives him shit about it, he's doing that not knowing when Louis took over the financial hell that the family was in. They were, what they say, 4 months away from losing everything. So he makes this turn into this business out of desperation, knowing that for a Black man in this time, this is pretty much the only business he can run, and make money quick to get his family out of fucking debt.
And it's not just money, but it gives him back his status, at least in the small circle with which he travels.
Serious street cred,
yes.
And Lestat ribs him about it, but he's he's allowed into a lot of spaces that a man like him would not normally be allowed in. And that's part of the fuckery of it too. It's oh, well, you're allowed this far in, but not farther. You're allowed to do this, but not that,
Okay. And as that, boy, and this is a bad metaphor, but I'm going to use it anyway. As that noose is tightened on his own rights, right? And on his own authority, slowly over the course of this first season, he's allowed less and less of what he previously had and his father and his grandfather had before him. As that begins to affect him, that's when he begins to understand and more truthfully be sorrowful about how he used people, right? And it's boy, ain't that the way. You don't grow empathy until they start kicking you with them boots all of a sudden. Man, I watched a great, I'm not going to use the language that he used, but you should go look it up. Dr. Cornel West made an interesting argument about how this is a moment, these recent incidents, particularly with ICE concerning Renee Good and Alex Preddy. But he says there's no difference now between brothers and sisters like Alex and Renee and folks like Philando Castile and so many that have gone before, and that white America is beginning to be confronted. I mean, that's what happens to Louis here. Louis has been allowed a status because of his wealth that keeps him above the streets. And now suddenly when he later begins to be reminded of, no, you out there on the streets just like the rest of them, he's like, do you all see how bad the streets are? Suddenly you're very concerned.
Right. I think that, I mean, and I do think a lot of it for him, as you said, throughout the season, his freedom, though it should be increasing because he is a vampire, he is the whole, the savage garden is at his feet. But it's like his freedom, everything gets tighter. He has less, I don't know. It's so strange. The way that this relationship and its dysfunctionality just kind of smothers him, it's so wild. I love seeing it.
I don't know that the museum existed when you and I covered this show the first time, and I don't know that I mentioned it even when we rewatched this first season once upon a time. But for those of you that haven't heard us mention it previously, there is a museum in New Orleans called the Storyville Museum, which specifically covers this area historically, the real place. Also, I'm going to put a link in the show notes because, and I've got a note about this later that I'll bring up here, but there is a great episode of The Kitchen Sisters, which is an NPR based podcast. It was a radio show once upon a time. They've got a podcast version of it now, but there's a fascinating episode of their show where they specifically talk about Storyville, and there are recordings from a Nickelodeon where Tennessee Williams and his boyfriend were there together, just hanging out and enjoying each other's company on a random day.
That's so fucking cool.
But we have the record, we have the recording, and so they put it in the podcast, several little clips of the two of them talking, and it's adorable.
Awesome. That's so like, oh, what a cool little moment in history. That's fucking awesome. I love it. I haven't gotten to go to that museum. It's on my list for this next trip for sure.
One of the future trips. Yep. Yeah, it's on mine too.
We did World War II this last time, and I highly recommend that. But,
speaking of future trips, by the way, go to articulatecoven.com/events.
Yeah, because we
Convergence 2026.
We're going to be there in Halloween again.
That's right. We're going to be at Halloween 26 and 27, both there. We've got long Halloween weekends in New Orleans. It's a great place to be. Check out all the details and get your tickets now.
Yeah.
Okay, two excellent... But let's just a round of applause for the fucking supporting cast in the show.
Oh my God. Immediately, I'm just like, this casting is all so fucking brilliant. I
mean, Sam and Jacob and Eric and Asa, they're all amazing.
Yes. And we rant and rave about them constantly. Yes. But like, Brix showed back up and I was like, yes, my girl.
Brix is such a small part of this show. Literally, I just say Alderman Fenwick and Brix.
That scene is crazy.
Both of these two actors, though, play great roles in little small scenes in several episodes in this first season.
So good.
They're just bring such a color and a quality to the show. And again, like, this is an example of the difference between this show and Mayfair. It's not just the purity of adaptation.
Yeah.
The care and quality from top to bottom, y'all. There are good actors in Mayfair. I don't mean to say that, but there are no Alderman Fenwicks.
No.
There are no Tom Andersons we're going to meet in a little while. There
it's
are
really
no
missing. It's missing like the color. Like it's like missing the color and flavor, which we get so much in this series. Like there was
a little of that in Talamasca.
Yeah,
like there was some of that.
There was. Now going back to this and watching just this first episode, I was immediately like, oh, I totally know why some people were like, fuck Talamasca. Because the stark difference, like it in feel and everything, it is very, very different vibe. Very different vibe. So I completely understand. Like, and I did. It's not that I didn't understand before, but I hadn't rewatched this so recently, and this is just like, if this is your love, and this is like it is like nothing matches this quality. Like
Well,
nothing I've seen in a hot minute matches the quality of this show.
Especially even just the tone. Like, you and I have spent so long now living in the vampire Lestat land where he's a rock star, and we've been listening to Long Fangs on repeat.
Right.
That is easier to put up against Talamasca.
Talamasca,
oh yeah, these things are.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
this
good.
makes sense. No, when you like coming hot off Talamasca and then going back to this immediately, I was like, "What planet are we on?" Like,
Okay, Citizen Priest. We've got we got problems left and right for Louie here to start this episode.
This is a rough night. We've got.
He's literally got his hands in shit and blood from the alderman.
Listen, that was against Jesus, as she said so eloquently. That is
consent, y'all.
Jesus.
Consent will save you so many problems.
Yeah, she said that she might have done it if he had just asked.
But meanwhile, we've got a citizen priest, as they call him. Paul is bothering one of Louie's other employees, and so he has to go and handle that too. Okay, genuinely, Paul may be the most accurately translated character in this pilot episode, especially, maybe the whole damn series.
Right.
He's such a brief part of the novel, honestly, but he's the corner of Louie's story.
Yeah. And they really did such a good job of expanding that character and making him more fleshed out, seeing like him get angry, as opposed to just being crazy. Like they did a really good job with him. And seeing like Louie's, the struggle within Louie in dealing with him, loving him so much, but also like you are fucking convenient on so many levels,
Yeah, even to the ones who love you most. They don't know what to do with you, and you won't accept their help all the time.
Well, and he won't, but he won't put him away. Like when his sister is like, there's something I'm going to regret.
We could send him.
And he's like, no, absolutely not. The last time he came back worse. Like, we're not doing that to him.
It's genuinely one of the things that I dislike most about the 94 film is that they give Louie a wife and child. And it's a lost, it's like he lost his kid and his wife in childbirth. Yeah. And that's the reason he's so depressed and wants to die. And first of all, like, Louie being sort of closeted is enough. We don't need him to actually have had a beard and to be mourning that. Like, come on.
Right. And it is, I agree. I always kind of hated that choice. And I get they maybe did that too to sort of like make his relationship with Claudia mean more right off the bat, but it's not needed. We clearly see that in this, in this adaptation.
We get a Mayfair mention right up here off the top. I seem to remember that there was one, but I couldn't remember exactly where it came in.
I remembered exactly what it was too.
You can go down to the Mayfair sisters. He's calling me a witch, mama. It is funny to think that in 1910, just folks know. It's not like this family would have relations with the Mayfairs exactly. Probably
no, but it is known that there's fuckery at the Mayfair.
Everybody
house.
knows those Mayfairs got the hoodoo. That's right.
It is known.
Can't see the dirt for the dollars falling. All right, that I may make that a T-shirt in the future, y'all. Tom Anderson is such a delight in this season. Okay, here's the difference between Tom and Alderman Fenwick, and I think this is so important. I love a vague villain, right? Like Fenwick, from the beginning, it is clear the politeness is a veneer.
Yeah.
He could not give two shits for Louie, except that Louie is valuable to him in different ways, right? I think Anderson, on the other hand, truly enjoys Louie's company. He has no qualms whatsoever relying and leaning on the society's racism, because that will put him ahead of Louie in whatever race they're particularly facing, but like the malevolence is not there with Anderson. He has no grace or concern for your injury because of his actions, but he's only focused on his own agenda. Fenwick is genuinely looking to crush this little uppity Negro, as it were.
he is trash. He is a trash human. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that is a garbage man. So, but
Yeah,
Anderson,
literally a garbage man with the mustache.
Anderson's got this like this real like scuzzy vibe to him, to me, that's like I know that you're smiling at
Sell
me.
your mother.
Yeah, 100%. I like that he's like, but a quieter style of a piece of shit is always good. A suave piece of shit is very very more palatable.
Okay, it's the Benicio del Toro character from The Last Jedi. He's the guy that gets them out of the jail cell and also explains to them that the rebels and the First Order are buying weapons from the same people. And it's the billionaire corporations that you need to worry about that are all here gambling on this one particular place. I'm sorry. Have you noticed? That is sort of the Tom Anderson of it all.
Yeah.
And like he has no sadness as he waves goodbye to you while you're fucked and he's getting away.
Bye.
But would not kick you down the stairs if you weren't in his way. Fenwick, on the other hand, would go out of his way to kick you down the... Yes. Okay. I like that there is both of those things here, you know? All right. I wrote this as, this is our heated rivalry episode. Okay. So everybody's doing edits online about how the heated rivalry show from, I think it was actually a Canadian show originally, but we're watching it on HBO Max in the States. Or I say I haven't started it yet, but folks are watching it on HBO Max. We haven't watched the show, so we can't really speak to heated rivalry specifically.
We cannot.
However, I've seen enough of the discussion online that it's about two fellas who start out on opposite hockey teams and that end up rubbing body parts together mostly. Also, I think in that show, there are some women that are involved in those relationships that are sort of not exactly used as beards, but kind of a little bit, right? Like they're layers of
protection,
emotional protection. Yeah. Before we both admit this thing to ourselves or whatever. I was just struck by how that's exactly how this episode plays out. Like Lily is that veneer. Lily, this is similar to the politeness I mentioned with the alderman. Louie needs an alibi for his appetite that he has. Yes. Lestat, meanwhile, needs an in to Louie other than just being like, hey, motherfucker. Because he's like, Louie would run from that. I can't just come in there.
I need an in.
So Lestat like toys with him, lays out the open nature of his own lifestyle. And he's like, don't you want this? Don't you want a little of this?
Doesn't this seem like fun to you?
Yeah, man. He dares him, begs him, threatens him. Come on. Taste all the beautiful things that you are. Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. I love that whole opening scene and the fact that they literally bid over her back and forth. The joke about the sausage recipes is fucking fantastic.
Hilarious. Yes.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's a great scene. You know, oh God, this show's so fucking good. Like, that man just seeps Lestat out of every pore. Like, just the way he moves is so incredible. Like, I had a very hard time taking my eyes off of him. Even when they were just like walking through town together, I was just like really transfixed by Sam this episode. This watch of this episode. Normally Louie has all of my focus when I've watched this episode previously. This time I just was like, Christ, this man is perfection. We are so lucky.
Hang on just a second. Something is beeping. Kelly needs to change her CPAP filter, apparently.
Oh my God. A stand-up show last night with another lady comedian that I love working with. She's so funny. Her name's May Gaden. She has a fucking hilarious CPAP joke about fucking guys with CPAPs. And I'd forgotten it and how funny it was. And she did it last night. And after our discussion about CPAPs a couple weeks ago, I thought I was going to die. I laughed so hard.
Okay. So the one thought that I had after I got my CPAP machine was, boy, I am so thankful that I don't anticipate dating again, because it would be a real pisser to like get invited back to somebody's house and be like, yeah, and then at the last minute be like, but I'm gonna choke all night and
I don't have my CPAP.
Maybe I'll have a seizure afterwards. It's like, yeah, that's no good. A fever amongst the undesirables is happening, Ashely.
Yes.
I love the way that
there's a new type of rat they think's come ashore.
Bureaucrat. I like that one.
I love this poker game. God, I love this poker game.
The alderman says, if you find yourself riverside of Decatur, you have only yourself to blame, I say.
That's what you get.
Okay. Lestat says, do you not know your value? Do you suffer these indignities for some greater purpose? Man, okay.
Are you punishing yourself at this point?
Okay, but on the flip side, though, and you said it yourself, Louis did not want to be a brothel owner.
No.
Right? Like, Louis is here out of desperation. He does not want to be at this poker table with all these random racist old white men either. But these men have the power and the money that can afford him the continued future to provide not only for the things that Louis likes, although Louis is getting plenty of that too, but he's got his mama in this nice house. Yeah. He's got his sister in a decent marriage about to be. He's sending him on this worldwide trip, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, he's got to take care of his brother. His brother can't provide for himself.
No. He'll be taking care of his brother forever. And that's...
It's easy for Louis to look, for Lestat to look from the outside in and go, do you not know your value? Louis does know his value. He also knows his circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is the one thing I, again, like to just make a slight political comment here, but like whenever you're chiding from the outside in, or boy, here's one I see all the time in Facebook comments. There'll be some story about a Republican candidate and it'll be, well, who are the Democrats running? Friend, Google is right there, but also like, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and be mad about what somebody else did or didn't do. If it bothers you, then get up and do it. Get up and do it. Why don't you, in fact, actually? And
Please,
this is one of those times, Lestat's like,
I do think
you should burn it all down. But then when Louis tries to burn it all down later, he's like, shame on you, mon ami.
Shouldn't have burned it down that hard.
Yeah, why'd you hang the racists on the fence, Louis? That's not the way to do it.
That's too much. Too much, Louis. Too much. Too far. I do think it's the point, though, that Lestat understands Louis in such a way that he's using this as a point of manipulation with him. He's not like trying to encourage him to see his best self. He's like, no, if I'm going to fuck with you, I know I can do it this way. Like, that's our guy.
Yeah. No, he 100% is using it as a manipulation tool. Louis says, let the tale seduce you, just as I was seduced. Okay, Louis is so passive. Nothing is his fault. Nothing is his choice. Nothing is his doing. He didn't choose to be a brothel owner. He had these bad circumstances. He didn't want to be in charge of the family finances. His brother was just incapable. His dad died young, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even here, he didn't want to love Lestat. He was being chased and pursued by Lestat.
I was being hunted and I didn't even know it. Please, you're sitting next to that man at the opera. Bitch, you know you're being hunted.
It is infuriating to know and love people who never take any action to hear them tell their life story anyway. Like, that life just happens to them.
Yeah. It's so weird. These things keep happening to me and happen around me all the time. I don't understand.
You are going to the wrong places, friend.
Or the phone call is coming from inside the house, Louie.
Here's another good t-shirt idea. A new kind of white. French white.
French white.
Fleur-de-lis and fangs. What do you think? There you go.
French white.
My mother, she gave me every advantage in life as a young man. My first Mastiff, my first flintlock rifle.
Didn't
the
teach you
means
to read.
make my way to Paris. Yes, you're right. Okay, but this is an example. It tickles me so much knowing that that is not just an Easter egg. It's not just a stray nod to the fact that there are other books. We're going to meet that bitch next season.
Yeah, we are.
She's on her way to us, Ashely.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Yes. Okay, dishonesty breeds dishonesty. Lestat is unpeeling his clothes here as he's confronting Louie with the fact that this is before even he's asking Louie why he lied to his family about the opera.
Yep.
And Louie says, well, they don't need to know my business. Dishonesty breeds dishonesty. And like, yeah, okay. One of the reasons why we are in our current situation politically is because there are a lot of people who did things they're ashamed of and who now are terrified that someone might tell it.
Yep.
Some of them aren't even that bad. It was just like, oh, I cheated on my wife the one time, or I cheated on my taxes, or that one time I wrote off a thing that I shouldn't have, or I paid off that person because I had sexually assaulted them and now nobody knows about it. They got rich and they're fine, but like, if anybody knew, my life would change. If dishonesty breeds dishonesty. If you can be blackmailed, then you can always be blackmailed.
Yep.
It's not like a one-time situation.
No.
We've talked about the It series a lot recently in our Afterlife segments. Shame, folks, where does shame come from? It comes from dishonesty. If everybody knows, if you are who you are all the time, then people can't hold you over the coals for oh my God, I know who you are. So does everybody else, motherfucker.
Shame is a hell of a thing. Shame is a hell of a thing. I think that so much bad comes from shame. Like, to not address the core of your shame, where it comes from. Like, I mean, I see this with people recovering from religious trauma all the time, like trying to fucking unpack all the shame that they had associated with behaviors that didn't need shame, that shouldn't have been related to shame at all. It's wild the way that shame fucks with us. It fucks with our brains on such a chemical level that it is just, it's bonkers to me. Like, I mean, outside of, like, you're totally right. Like, shame is something that can be used to manipulate people in such a way, like blackmail, because you do have shame because dishonesty breeds dishonesty. But like, just the way that people fuck with themselves over their shame, that internal grief, that internal struggle is just is a fascinating human study.
I mean, you think about blackmail and you think, oh, somebody's holding you over the coals and getting regular checks or whatever. But like, blackmail can be just what we were talking about earlier with Lestat using Louis's shame for dealing with these racists and like him understanding his own value but not living up to it necessarily. He uses that to manipulate him into actions that Louis might not want to do exactly. So like, it doesn't have to be literally like a bag full of money.
Right. No, totally.
We get a mention of Nikki here, a boy of infinite beauty and sensitivity.
And we're going to see him.
I know. Okay. Here's who I want to call out though first. Shout out to Daniel Hart. He's going to get a lot of praise this coming year and it's going to be deserved.
Yeah.
But he's deserved more these last few seasons than what he's gotten so far. One of the many reasons why this show stands above Mayfair and even Talamasca is the score and the soundtrack. They are fantastic.
So
top to bottom.
so well crafted, absolutely beautiful. But really, really helps build the scene, the tension, the conflict. It really helps paint New Orleans in such a beautiful way. Like that's another thing I'm enjoying too, is like getting like dropped back down into New Orleans. It's just it's so perfect. The show's so good.
I just want to put it out there into the universe, Ashely, because I believe in
Manifesting.
positive affirmations. That's right. I believe in manifesting. I would like someone to make me orgasm magically and then immediately put me into a deep and restful sleep. Can we order some of those up?
I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty sure I've had that happen.
I mean, ever? Yeah, probably. But like this Lily, he turns Lily off and on like a light switch.
Oh yeah, that's a really I have dealt with insomnia for much of my life, and so that would be a very great trick to have up Brett's sleeve.
Good for Lily is all
good
I say.
For Lily.
Good for Lily. I don't even
good
think
nap.
Here's how restful and restorative that would be. I don't think I would be mad when I woke up in a haze later and realized that I had missed naked Jacob and Sam cavorting on the other side. I would wake up and be like, oh, y'all have fun? That was so good.
It would need to be a comfier sleep than I had on my couch after I accidentally got white girl wasted on White Claws last night.
She was like laid back in an arch, wasn't she? Ooh.
I would not feel okay after waking up from that sleeping position.
But still though, even in the modern day, it's interesting to me that Louis points out, it bears repeating, I did not consider myself a homosexual man at this time. Mm-hmm. And even there, it's like, why mention it? Because he's fishing for Daniel. He asked Daniel a question about, hey, you remember how we met in a gay bar? Because you wanted to do you wanted to have gay sex for drugs. Do you remember?
remember?
Do you still like to have gay sex for drugs, Daniel?
We have good drugs. Got a vampire doctor and everything.
Altar boys come dancing every day for God. The sheer joy of this dance scene. And part of it, I think, is more beautiful for you and I when we go rewatch it. And for everybody that watches this show, all of our listeners probably feel this way because we know what's coming right next. Yeah. Life is not beautiful and precious because it is long. I got misty watching these boys dance this time. Yeah. I really did.
Yeah. This whole wedding is so joyful. This whole, like, aside from, the brother sitting sullenly during the wedding, but like it is full of such joy. It's a beautiful, like everything is so beautiful in the courtyard. It's just, I love this scene. And then things go so horribly.
Okay. Paul is on this roof with Louie, and there's three things, I guess, that he asks. He says, first of all, he talks to Louis about whether or not he's working with Lestat anymore. And Louis says no. And then he pushes him one further. He says, mortal sins must be confessed, Louis. And he's not talking about business dealings. He's talking about, you've been screwing that man and you shouldn't have been. Then he says, do you think Levy loves her enough? Grace needs a lot of love. And Louis says, yeah. He says, do you think he's given her everything he's got inside him? And Louis says, yes. Paul is verifying that the people that he worries about
will be okay.
Are okay. Mm-hmm. Then he pledges his love to Louis. And then he leaves this world.
Walks right off the roof.
We've talked about it before. Suicide is a permanent decision to temporary problems. There is help for those of you that ever feel like you need it. But it is interesting to me, that sequence of events, and it's particularly interesting when you have people who have taken their lives when you see a similar pattern in their final actions too. They're verifying that the people they love most are okay, are taken care of in whatever way, and then they check out. Okay, we see Rashid again. He just slides into this scene as Louis is at his most vulnerable moment. And what is Rashid doing? He's opening the doors and he's removing the auto shades. It's almost like he's the one that's in charge of this house, not Louie. Opening the doors hit me particularly hard this time, Ashely. It reminds me of the fact that library is up high where Louie can't fly to it. Louie is locked into this house.
I mean, it's his coffin. He says that.
And he doesn't have the key. He doesn't have the key. Okay, Paul earlier worries that Louis will be damned because of the mortal sin of homosexuality and fornication. He's unwed. He's not attempting childbirth. By the devout average Catholic at that time, their understanding in 1910, that'd be some bad news, right? Mama Dulac here, she's angry because Louis didn't save her son from suicide, which means Paul's damned as well. Y'all, I know Ashely does not worry about this, but y'all don't keep fretting about this God with a billy club in the sky. Y'all gotta stop with that bullshit. It's not like that. Whatever your fourth dimensional being is like, he is not worried about where your peen or vagine go. I'm telling you, he's really not.
Yeah.
As long as it's consensual. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. That's the that's the rules. Them's the rules. Put it where you like with consent.
Suicide is tragic. Suicide it's sad. It's terrible.
Awful. I've lost several friends to it, and it is horrifying.
Please don't give up on this beautiful and brief existence. However, believing that a just and righteous God would punish somebody because they had too much of this brief and beautiful existence and couldn't handle it anymore, that is absurd and evil, and I rebuke it in Jesus' name. Thank you very much. Nuh-uh. I got so mad at Mama Dulac in this. She's great, by the way. We've talked about her previously.
Oh, she's so great. I love her.
She's very good on the role, but like I was like, fuck you, Mama Dulac. Actually, yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah, this turn, and she's so cruel. She just is immediately done with him because she also thinks that he said something.
Yeah.
She thinks that he must have said something that made it happen. You know, and so she's blaming him not just for stopping it, but for causing it. And she just never turns back on this. You know, she's till the end.
I mean, and to be fair, after this moment, Louis does not genuinely make good effort to return to her good graces, but she is pretty. I don't know that I would have courted her favor after that moment either. I'm going to listen to you when you tell me.
It's so cruel. I mean, I can't imagine saying that to my child. You know, like
no,
I just
not
can't.
at all.
In my mind, I can't imagine a world where anything like that would come out of my mouth.
When the gathering cut loose the body, I could not join the transformation of those in attendance. He would not let me. Now, Louis is talking about Lestat being in his head, but I think he's still mourning Paul here. He cannot let go of Paul's body. If you don't know, if you've never looked into this, if you haven't listened to our discussions previously of it, I think I mentioned it some in my 5 Things You Missed video, which is on our YouTube channel. I'm putting out a new series of those, by the way. I'm redoing them slightly and going all the way through season 2. Those will be releasing soon. But the transformation is such a cool thing. I intend on getting cremated. However, I do want this. I'm like, you bring one little flute to the funeral, that'll be fine. But you play me a sad song on the way, and then you play me a happy song when you turn around. That's the transformation that he's talking about. The band and the chorus mourns on the way to the burial site, and when they return, it is a joyous celebration of the life that we are all enjoying. Yeah.
You take the happiness to the wake.
Okay. Vienne à moi. We've talked about the importance of Come to Me. It's a song we're going to hear later this season. It is something in the novels that many characters say. But here we get it several times from Lestat. Lestat's big thing, definitely in the novels, he talks about it here in the show eventually too. His big thing is that he never chose vampirism. Magnus forces it on him, and he always demands a choice for his fledglings. Except Claudia doesn't make a choice. Louis doesn't Vienne à Lestat. Lestat goes to the church. Lestat breaks down a door. He kills two priests. He interrupts Louis's confession to put him in this further desperate state. Then Yes, technically, Louis does nod his head and say, okie dokie, but like,
no, you've
what
left
do
him
you
in such a
say?
fucking mess. How can he say no to that at this point?
I mean,
You've also
okay,
said, like, desecrated a church with, like, if he's in this, like, moment of religious, like, fucking peril, and Lestat has set this church on fire, destroyed the what is that where you sit and do
not the vestibule, the
where you the confessional,
not
yeah,
confessional. There you go, confessional.
Destroys the confessional, yanks that priest out, eats him, and then punches through the head of the other priest.
Yeah, so you've watched. I mean, what would you do? A monster eats a priest, survives several dagger stabs to the back, by the way.
Yeah,
freezes time, punches through another priest's skull. Like, I'd probably go, yeah, be sweet to me, pretty please.
I don't know. Like, please don't kill me next, or do. I don't even know what's happening at this point. Like, yeah, you create a moment of chaos and trauma for this man, and then are like, would you like? Are you interested? So fuck. This man does not know how to love bomb properly.
Lestat says, you begged your feeble, blind, degenerate, non-existent god for... First of all, the lady doth protest too much. If the god is non-existent, then it cannot be feeble, blind, and degenerate. Okay? Like, we could just... one theological argument at a time, please, Lestat. So look, the lead up is terrible, but the pitch is actually pretty tremendous.
Yeah,
be all the beautiful things you are, be them without apology for all eternity. Yes, please, and thank you. What did we just say about shame and hiding parts of ourselves? Dishonesty breeds dishonesty.
Turns out this magic blood doesn't, do what therapy does, though.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Listen, though, I will say the ways in which I have to not be all the beautiful things that I am, like, or the ways in which that I've been told that some of the ways that I am are not beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, that's the demon dogs that in at least like a lighter moment in our country I be very focused on most of the time. Like, honestly, it's a good thing about depression and personal anxiety is they sort of go away in the possible collapse of your own government and way of existence.
Oh.
That shit puts your personal problems right in their proper position, doesn't it?
Just, especially the ones that you sit around and make up in your own head. Like, I don't even have time to. I don't even have time to sit around and do that right now.
I love this show. Love the show. Looking forward to watching it with you all. The other cool thing that occurred to me is since we are now done with episode 1, I can bother Judah to watch episode 2 with me again. He watched episode 1 once upon a time. He didn't rewatch it with me the other day when I watched it, but he had watched it not that long ago, and then we had never gotten to episode 2. He hadn't asked for it, and so I hadn't pushed. But I mentioned it the other day as kind of a joke, and he was like, "Hey, I'd love you. Do you want to watch it now?" And I was like, can we wait like a week? Because I'm watching episode 1 right now. But when I finish episode 1, I'll watch episode 2 with you. He goes, yeah, we'll watch it. So he and I are finishing X-Men 97 season 1 right now.
It's so much fun. I love that.
He has very much appreciated like the heightened soap opera aspects of it, as well as, oh my God, they're bringing so much from the comics into it all at once.
It's so good.
We've really been enjoying that, and I'm looking forward to watching some more of this show with him and seeing his reactions to it too. A little bit of business. We've got an afterlife segment coming up for you. We're going to be talking about Stranger Things for our patrons tonight. Ashely has been watching it from the very beginning, I think. Kelly and I just finished the season or the series finale with our girls, our 12-year-olds. So we're going to talk a little bit about that show. Some of the things that we think it did good, some of the things that we think it kind of missed on, what might be next, and very specifically, some of the references that we saw from other properties that you might dig if you are not familiar. So watch for that. If you're not a patron, you can get access to that and everything else we do early, ad-free more often. ArticulateCoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. All right. Ashely, we will be back next week with episode 2 of season 1 of Interview with the Vampire.
I'm watching the, are you watching the uncut version? The fully loaded version?
Oh, yes. So I have
am as
purchased both season 1 and season 2 in the Apple TV store or whatever a long time ago. Yeah, so I'm watching like the full. The only thing that I miss about that, and I guess I know if you do AMC Plus, you can watch the uncensored versions there now too.
Yeah.
But I do miss the episode insiders. Those are not on these purchased versions. Yeah, so you got to go watch those on AMC.
On AMC, yep. It's those beautiful booties. My God. What a treat.
There's lots of curse words too that actually are taken out in the
really?
network edit. Yeah, there's quite a few. Anyway, very, very, it's just watch the unauthored, just watch the unedited versions. Okay, until we are back next week, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashely.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.